Hello, this is Crypto CJ. It's Friday afternoon, trade of the day. Saturday morning on other parts of the world, and Bitcoin is dipped again, desperately holding on to 60K, but it is holding so far, so good. So that's good news. Ethereum has lost the $3,000 support. I was hoping it would hold. It's down to 2,900. Let's go to the charts and check it out. Okay, you guys seeing my day chart, Bitcoin?
Yes.
All right, so yeah, big fat red candle here. We had a little bit of a pump in the wee hours, and then by the time I got up, it was dipping down pretty hard, and it's been lurking in this low to mid $60,000 range most of the day. Let's go to the hour chart. Yeah, I went down as much as to 60,180, give or take, and then up a little bit, 60,700 and change. So not liking this big fat red candle, unless I'm missing something, I tried to find some news and on both Twitter and TradingView and didn't really see anything.
Oh, there was some bad economic data.
Well,
Interest rates are up, or I saw something somewhere.
yeah, I looked for something like that and it seemed counterintuitive to me, which that kind of thing is from time to time, but
Can you do me a favor and can
mhm.
you put it on the daily chart and look back for the last 2 or 3 Fridays? Oh, for me, Friday. Yeah, Friday for you, Saturday morning for me. I think this has done this consistently over the last 2 or 3 weeks at the same time.
We had a big pump on Friday the 3rd and
After a big dip.
yeah, that's true. And then Friday the 26th, mostly sideways. Um,
But again, a dip right before that.
yeah,
Yeah.
a dip again, and then a pump on Friday the 19th. So pretty big dip on Friday the 12th. Yeah, I've got a task on my list now that Friday's been moving lately, one direction or the other. So I did put a small position in on Bitcoin in the low 60s. Got some $100 in USDT from Bing X for completing their KYC, which I did with my Palu ID. And so I took that $100 and just threw it on Bitcoin, see what happens with it. So now the drop did happen before that occurred, so it's not my fault. Maybe I'll do a random short and push the market up. That's worked in the past. So yes, even experienced day traders can be superstitious. So, but back to reality. Yeah, most of the news was good. So this is a little frustrating for me. If you look over here in the news area on TradingView on Bitcoin, other than telling us that Bitcoin lost a couple percent today, which we know, most of the news was pretty good. JP Morgan, um, more interest from institutions and small countries, and even China is pondering a Bitcoin ETF. So, outside not just Hong Kong, we talked about that one a little bit already, but so the news was pretty good, and Bitcoin dropped just for fun. So unless Craig said there was some economic data, I didn't really see it, but I could look up.
I just sort of read something about it.
Shoot, now something's in my way. I can't get to my. All right, I'm not going to waste any more time on this. I've got a link up here, but let me just drag this down. Ah, there we go. I'm determined to find this. It's a calendar of financial events. Here it is. And are you guys seeing this calendar Forex Factory?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so today's the 10th. And unemployment rate was a little bit lower. Maybe that was it. That's a Canadian one. It's the US that usually moves it. Consumer sentiment, 67.4, actual 76.3. I don't know, maybe. It's probably more time than it was worth. So, oh well, it's just one of those days. Buy the dip. Hold some funds back in case it dips more. I've been talking about that for the last few weeks. That's what I've been doing on my swing trading. I did get out of a render position today that I had 4 positions in that did really well. So that's a little bit of good news, but that was before the drop. So, all right, Ethereum on the day chart, red candle, we're down a couple percent today. And yeah, lost 4% today. That's not good. Generally, the altcoins follow Ethereum and Bitcoin. Just it looks like we're having a down week this week, but not horribly so. At least not yet. I mean, 3, 4, 5% dips in a bull market are very common. So I'm not freaking out. Hope you guys aren't either. Any questions or comments about the markets overall before we look for some day trade and swing trades with Altcoin Alert? Okay. Let's go to Altcoin Alert. I'm on the altcoin radar setting. I'm going to reload. And the first sort I usually do is my AA score. Looking for values 80 and higher, but I'll cheat a little in the high 70s. Something. Is someone drawing on? Yeah, I think someone's drawing on here. I'm not sure why. I didn't even know that was possible. I'm gonna have to stop that. And I think I'll pause the recording. And we're back. Okay. You guys see my altcoin alert page.
I don't think I've ever seen a score of 93.
90s are unusual. Hero. Is this the one that the CryptNation guys really dislike?
I don't know.
Well, let's look at it just for fun. We'll look at it as a day trade. It's only on Bittrex and Uniswap. Huh. That's a little bit too limiting, I think, for me to really get into. So I think I will not look that one up. Okay, rep. It's been a while since I traded that one. It's 78.7. I was looking at it earlier. It is on Kraken and a few others. I think it's an older project, but the volume is really poor. So maybe we'll look at this as a swing trade. Oh, even on the hour chart, it's poor.
Is the image missing because the volume is so low?
Yes.
The candles?
Yeah, that means there's no, when there's a small horizontal line like this, there's no trades in that time frame.
Okay.
So that's terrible. We're not going to look at that one either. So AKT, I was looking at earlier, and I know this one is worth looking at. So I think it's on Coinbase as well. So on the 15-minute chart, using the RTI as our guide, where can we get in on this? I've got my support and resistance. We just broke out of resistance a little dip. And 4% going back is pretty good. Pretty good room there. I think what I'd want to see here at the minimum is a dip below the 50 on the RTI and then a break back up. So the alert you'd want to set, right click here on the RTI, relative trend index, cross up on the 50. And I think I'll just do that once. I'm not a huge fan of buying long positions on Friday afternoons, but we just went through Fridays at Craig's behest, and some of them have pumped over the weekend. So anyway, that's an AA score purchase. And yeah, I'm going to notify my app on my phone, show pop up on my computer, play a sound also on my computer, my desktop, and then I'll click that alert, go over here to make sure it's there, and that's it right there. All right, so if AKT dips below this and comes back up, then I'll consider getting in on a day trade on that. Okay, let's look at this. And I'm also going to look at my cumulative delta for confirmation. Right now it's drifting down. I'm going to want to see something more like this, or ideally like this, where it's shooting up, or at least trending up. Okay, so as a swing trade, we'll look at the Coinbase chart. The setup's pretty similar on the 1 hour at the moment. I'm going to put on the super trend. And the last super trends have really been good on this, called it really nicely, right here. And then my confirmation is the Trendilo LSMA, which is a moving average. So when I get a buy signal on super trend, the LSMA, and if I'm coming out or emerging out of the green zone, or in this situation, it would have been halfway between, that's still a good entry. I would have taken that with a goal of getting to the red zone, give or take. So yeah, I would have been looking for something like usually 10+% is what I look for personally on my swing trades, my short-term swing trades. I've got a few hodls, and I know there are other folks attending this who hold swing trades much longer and go for, double the value, 5x, 10x. That's not really how I trade very often. So anyway, that's what I'm looking for on my swing trades. I will also go to a longer time frame, 4 hour, 8 hour, the day, even the week, to look for past resistances to help me determine where to get out. But again, on a short-term swing trade like this, I think it's going to dip and then eventually come back. Let's say the buy signal kicks in right about here. And then I'll be looking for a 10% move back up here. So the super trend is really easy to set alerts. Right click, add alert on super trend. You can trade it each direction if you want to short as well. I'm looking at a buy here, and I'm just going to put that on once. And that's an AA score. And I usually use a different notification for swing trades. Go with handbell, click create. And that one should be there as well. Yeah, there's the AKT on the 1 hour and the 15-minute. Okay, any questions on AKT as either a day trade or swing trade? All right, let's see what else we can find. So that was an AA score. I like using a social activity sort and matching it up with trading activity. And for example, we've got fire here on UMA. I traded that one in forever. LPT I trade sometimes. Fire on those two. Render I just talked about. Let's look at render. See if we can get another entry on that one. This has been one of my favorite coins to trade this year on both day trading and swing trading. And the CryptNation guys like it a lot. I believe it's an AI coin. So on the 15-minute chart, this looks similar to AKT. we had our resistance up here around 1150. It dipped down, trending back up, and there's a couple percent to be had if you want to get in now. Don't like that entry that much. I'd rather see it dip below this 20 value or break up above the 50 to show me some strength. Either one would be a good entry. Just bear in mind, if you break above the 50, you're probably going to be around here and be pretty close to the red zone on the 15-minute chart. If you want to hold it a little longer, maybe check out the 30 or the 1 hour. But again, I think that 1150 area, it hadn't been there in quite a while, and that's where I got out of my swing trade, right at 1150. So yeah, it's a little bit dangerous, I think, based with this information, to get in on this as it's a short-term trade. Now let's bounce over to the swing trade layout. And if you want to hold this longer, maybe you look at your day chart where, not that long ago, in mid-March, render was up to $13. So if you got in now and rode that up, that's almost 18%. But it did take, 59 days. I think that's too long for an 18% profit, but to each his own. So, and then a week, that $14 area is pretty much an all-time high for render. So that's the target, I would think, for even like a medium swing trade. And if you want to get in a little sooner than the 1 hour, you could go with a 30-minute SuperTrend alert, or an hour, or compromise, do a 45-minute. Yeah, just make sure you're in a reasonable area as far as support and resistance, and then that you have one confirming additional indicator. I like this LSMA. You may want to choose a different one. Okay. Any questions or comments about render? Okay. This one could be an interesting short. So I'll keep that in mind. Maybe I'll come back to it. All right, back to Altcoin Alert. And another sort I like, especially for swing trading, is the long-term sentiment sort. It's pretty similar to the social activity and trading activity. We're going to match up the long-term sentiment with the Elder Impulse Daily and see if we have any matches. Render again, AKT again. Never did look at LPT. Let's look at that as both a swing and a day trade. LPT, Live Peer. This one's been around for a while too. Let's get back to the 15-minute. And we're right in the middle of the support and resistance. The RTI has dipped down below the 20, so that's due for a retrace. So I like that. So if it comes back up, your entry probably be around here. And the red zone's 8%. Maybe even 13% if you catch this this whole retracement. I like that a lot. So here's your alert on the RTI. Right click, crossing up on the 20. You can go once per bar close if you want to keep it on all day until you turn it off. It's late in the day for me, so I'd probably just go with the only once. Alert name, this was a long-term sentiment. And I'll go with Chirpy on that. And yeah, that one's got potential. as a swing trade. Let's go back to that layout. So if we catch a retrace and a buy signal on the super trend, let's say that happens right about here, you know, it's about the same as the last chart we looked at. So this spike up to 1960 is the most recent high. And if I go to the 4-hour, yeah, it's about the same. There was one candle that wicked up to $20. On the day, we do have some activity in mid-March up to $26. So for a longer swing trade, that could be your target. Okay. Any questions on LPT? Okay, let's look for another one. So that was a long-term sentiment. You can also sort this the other way. Those of you a little more experienced and you're trading on leverage with taking shorts from time to time. A lot of bearish activity on the long-term sentiment matching with the Elder Impulse daily, which is, again, this is a sentiment is what people are talking about online, and the Elder Impulse is a technical indicator when they match. That's usually something worthy of checking out. Lots of coins on here. I trade Bitcoin Cash yesterday, Stellar from time to time. It's been a while since I've traded BNT or DGB. Crow Curve, trade that one quite a bit. Let's look at CRV and look at this as a short. So ideally on a short, we want it to break above the 80 and then dip back down. Let me show an example. So here's one that this is probably a better example. Right here, it breaks above the 80 and then comes back down and then craters. So, you know, that would have been a great short, 6%. Good stuff there. But we have the opposite right now. So this could be a potentially good, long trade, but it's not shaping up very well as a short. So I think I would set an alert on the RTI to break below the 80, and knowing it's probably not going to happen until tomorrow. So that alert looks like this. RTI crossing down on the 80. And again, call it what you want. Now, if you want to trade both directions using the RTI, then you're going to enter a channel. And this is what I usually do. Enter a channel, 80 on top, 20 on the bottom, once per bar close. And that was that long-term sentiment buy? Yeah, because we shorted it. Yeah, probably leave that on like that. And if I click create here, it's going to create like a rectangle. You see the dotted lines here. And so it'll go off if it breaks above the 20. That's something I'd want to get in as a long trade potentially. And if it breaks above the 80, comes back down, I get that alert as well. Okay, now as a swing trade short, gotta go back to CRV. Yeah, we're a bit late for that, and we're already at support. You don't want to short at support. So yeah, I don't like this as a swing trade. If you're really have your heart set on it, then you can set an alert on SuperTrend and go with the sell So what'll happen here is it'll eventually turn around, kick in a buy order, and then eventually come back down. And that's when your sell order would hit. It may not happen even this weekend. So that's how you do that. I think LPT or render would be better shorts, assuming they've petered out a little bit as far as momentum goes. Take a quick look at that again. And that was LPT actually. Yeah, so this sell printed already, the LSMA turned. So you could get in now, just hold some funds back or set a stop loss. I use stop losses with my short when I do a short trade. I usually maybe do 1 or 2 additional purchases and a stop loss. So, because in a bull market, you don't know what's going to happen. But it looks like this run is over and it's drifting back down. So, a short down to, if it gave it all back, that'd be a 20% move. Probably do something like this, somewhere in this vicinity. 5 to 10% for my exit. Okay, any questions on LPT? Okay, are there any other coins you guys want to go over? All right, I did get a question. It's a pretty good one. And go over here to the CRV chart because it was about some of my chart setups. So I received an email saying, how do you set up the relative strength indicator and the dotted line at 50 and the RTI indicator? So I'll go ahead and go over those. If you want to add an alert, or an indicator, this is where you do it on TradingView. Click on that button and type in relative strength. Spell it right. And it'll start to populate as you type things in. And that's one of the most common indicators that's available on TradingView. So if you click on this, it'll populate that down here. And then you can make adjustments to it if you want to. I do a lot with, I change the styles frequently. Make the RSI usually fatter. And maybe change the color since I'm on a black screen, change it to white, something like that. If you change your mind, don't want it anymore, you click this X and it goes away. So the next question is about my RTI settings. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you those here because I did add this dotted line in the middle. The midline here under style. And this is the first thing you'll see. I didn't change anything in here. But on the midline, I changed it to make it bigger. And then I turned it into a dashed line. I think it was either a dotted or a solid line before, and I changed it to dashed line. You click OK, and then it'll do that for you. There's a lot of customizations available on TradingView depending on how you want to view things. Okay. Any other questions or comments about what we talked about or other things you're interested in knowing? Very well. I will wrap it up here. 30 minutes. Okay, I got something on, I spoke too soon. I got something on the chat. How do you get the screen you are using? Well, that's the TradingView screen. And that's a layout I've created. So I think that's what you're asking. Yeah, this screen I've created creating it using a layout, and I call it my day RTI 15-minute chart. And then I've added supply and demand visible range indicator, like I showed, the RTI and the cumulative delta. And I do go over my setups, and you can actually get a copy of this chart if you if you're on my email list and you receive on Sunday and Monday, I send out an email that contains a video that goes over an overview of what I do in my Zoom calls. And in the description of that video, you can get that information. If that's too much to remember, email me at cryptocj13@gmail.com, and I'll send you something that's a little more specific. Okay, I'll wrap it up here. If you're watching on the recording, I appreciate that. Rather see you live. But check out the opportunities in the pinned comment. They help fund the channel. You guys have a good weekend. We'll see you next time. Bye.